Hello internet friends, my name is Catherine and I'm the human behind Christian Miss Couture, and today is another dye pan episode where we are going to be comparing what is the difference when you're mixing your pigment prior to dyeing your yarn versus when you're adding your colors separately. So what I mean by that is that we're going to do a 1-for-1 color of deep magenta and true black, and for one of the skeins we're going to be dyeing, we are going to do the mix first. So we're going to mix the both colors together and dye everything at the same time. And for the second skein, what we're going to do is we're going to start by dyeing the deep magenta, and then once it's fully struck the yarn and there's no more color in the pot, we're going to be adding the true black and we're going to be comparing both of them. So I'm assuming that there will be slight difference. I'm pretty convinced that we're going to be glazing the second skins, so we shall see the final result at the end, and you might see Zoe. Who knows, right? So let's get into this. Hello. So what are we going to be working on today is basically seeing how the I'm not sure how to explain it, but I want to see if adding both colors at the same time, so mixing, for example, deep magenta and true black together at the same time, will give the same result as if, for example, we add deep magenta and then we let it completely strike the yarn, clear the bath, and then if we add the true black after the fact, if it's going to give the same color yarn at the end. So this is what we're going to be working on. I'm going to be doing a 1% depth of shade for both of the colors. So it will be 50-50 or 1-for-1 in both. So we will be able to compare it. We're going to be using my classic silk yarn base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So we're going to start by mixing our dry powders. And I'm going to be mixing it directly in the, I was going to say cauldron. Can you see that I have Halloween in the mind? Anyways, I'm going to be wearing my respirator, so I will be sounding muffled. And since my skeins are 115 gram, I will need 2.3 gram because I'm doing 200 milliliters, and to have 1% depth of shade, I will need that, since I'm doing two skeins. There we go. So that's for deep magenta. Okay. And we're going to be adding the butter. So now I will remove my respirator. It would go much faster with milk frother, but I still haven't purchased one because I suck. No, that's not true. It's not why. I just keep forgetting. I should write it down. Maybe it will help. Okay, so I'm going to whoop-de-doo. See you in the pot. So this one, we're going to mix it directly both colors. So we're going to be mixing deep magenta and true black at the same time. 100 milliliter. And I'm just going to put this. And this one, we're going to do it one at a time, starting with deep magenta. So I'm just going to be adding my 100 milliliter of true black. I think we're going to have similar, like, result. It might just be like the sheen to it that will look different. We'll see. And I've pre-soaked my skeins overnight in tap water. I haven't, and there is no citric acid as of right now in either pot. It's going to be a very beautiful color, that's for sure. Oh. Okay, let's turn this on, and I'm going to wait at least 15 minutes before adding the citric acid, just so we can have like a good spread of the dye and have time for the color to strike evenly. Let's do. And same thing, even though we don't have the true black yet for this one, we're going to wait 15 minutes before adding the citric acid. Okay. And I will see you in 15. Okay, so we have been waiting for 15 minutes. We are now going to be adding the citric acid in pot. And since we only have like one skein, about a teaspoon should be more than enough. And we have a really nice color penetration, so this is fantastic. Very happy with it. This almost looks like grape, and I can already tell that the color, yeah, it has started to strike more. So folks, if your color is not striking, always ensure that you've actually added your citric acid, because I've done that once before. Okay, so the temperature is not quite at our 85 Celsius mark, but I can already see some steam coming out of the pots, which is great. So it means that we're approaching the correct temperature to have the color strike. So we're still going to wait a little bit. So when this one has fully absorbed into the skeins, we're going to be adding the true black. This one, once it's reached the 85 Celsius, we'll let it cook for half an hour, and then after that we're going to be turning off the heat. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay, so we'll be able to turn off the heat for this one because it's all good. So we're just going to let it rest. Now I will just... Oh, ouch. Okay, I'm just going to put this right here. 2 seconds. Okay, good. Ouch, that's hot. So I feel like we're going to have similar result. It might be a little different, but not that much. Okay. So now we're going to let this cook for half an hour for this one. And I'm not going to be adding any citric acid. Oh no, I lost my spoon. Oh no, where is it? Okay, it's too hot, so I've lost my spoon for now. Oops. Okay, so we're going to let this cook for half an hour, and we'll come back in half an hour. Okay, see you. Okay, I've got another spoon. I'll wait until it's completely cooled off, but this is all strike. I can turn this off. And we're just going to let it cool completely before washing it, and I will see you a little bit later. Bye! Okay, so we're going to be doing a quick wash to make sure that we don't have any excess dye left in the skeins. So we're going to let it soak for a little bit, and we're going to come back and just make sure that everything is washed off. I'm not expecting any bleeding coming from those two because we had clear bath. There was no hint of color left at all, which is always good and always so great when you see that. Sometimes, I mention it often, but sometimes I feel like with True Black there is a slight gray tint in the water, but I'm fairly certain it's just my imagination and the fact that I'm filming this in my basement, so like it's most likely just because it's dark in the basement. So after that we're going to let it in the spin dryer and we're going to let it dry overnight, and we will see the final result in just a second. And here's the final result of comparing if putting one color at a time versus mixing the pigments together. Oh, hi. Already? Excuse me. Okay. So yes, so this is the one that we've pre-mixed both pigments, and this is the one that we did one color at a time. Okay. Come on. Allez Zoé, on se tasse. Yes. Okay. So color wise it's the same color, however this one we have a more even color penetration, we have a more even color in general, where we can see that this one, since we added black second and since the water was already hot and we already had citric acid in it, we obtained a glazed effect on the outside of the skeins, which is fine. So this is something that you want to take into consideration if you're going to go for the second technique. If it's the effect you're going for, wonderful, this is the way to go, one color at a time, and you should obtain that sort of a glazed effect, which is very pretty. I don't mind it, but if it's not the color you're going for, because you can see that some strands are more black than others, so the color is not necessarily even through the entire skein of yarn. So you will see when you're knitting or crocheting, you will see the difference in between the strands, which is okay because it's still hand dyed. So this is something that you can expect sometimes, as long as it's not something you worry too much about, it's good. And to be fair, I really like both colors, so hope you'll like it. So if you've liked the video, please consider sharing, liking, and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye!